right, we are back. It is the Unprofessionals podcast with Nathan and Joshua. Last time out, we did a little Star Wars recap for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So if you missed that out, you can go check it out at unprofession.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter just to keep up with us, and Instagram just to keep up with us when we have new content out for you guys, whether it's writing or podcasts. So today we thought it would be kind of interesting because the other day Nathan and I were discussing kind of just sports. We just, hadn't seen each other in a couple weeks, and we're just hanging out talking about sports. And the question kind of came up of kind of where we are as sports fans, because for whatever reason, both of us kind of are in a weird rut as sports fans. I guess, I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but so I guess starting off, we're just going to ask, where are you as a sports fan right now?
Oh, and you forgot to add at the beginning our sponsor, the mobile hop-in off of Arnold Mill and Shrookham. That is the sponsor for this podcast.
Wait, right now?
Unofficial. I got many big Texases at that hop-in and frappuccinos from the like little Starbucks frappuccino bottles. Anyways, that's our sponsor. But as far as where I am as a sports fan, what am I following right now? What am I paying attention to?
I guess so. Like, what captures your attention? Like, in the morning, and obviously SportsCenter kind of sucks now, but like, what are you wanting to check on the internet when you wake up in the morning? Whether it's, let's just say it's a Monday morning, are you looking NFL, NBA, or just where are you with those different sports, and like kind of what is capturing your attention right now?
It varies right now. I think, so sports took a big blow for me for a few reasons. I think now we've the regular season for college football is over, so now we've got this month-long gap. Now it's not even. Now we've got less than 2 weeks till the playoffs.
Are you telling me you're not interested in like the Buffalo? Well, I guess the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl's on New Year's, but like I can't even think of the names, like the Toilet Bowl or the Alamo Bowl or the Cotton Bowl.
I'm not.
I understand.
And so it's just you have this break. There's all that people are going to talk about with college football now is, which we'll talk about the Heisman Trophy later, but people now we'll talk about the awards and then the bowl games, and they'll just like try to predict the playoffs. I'm so out on trying to predict playoffs. Like, I'm done with that. So that's no fun. This kind of the dog days of the NFL season. Like, the Giants are in a race for who's going to fall into the playoffs.
Race for ineptitude.
Oh my man, the NFC East is so bogus. And so like
the thing is the AFC South is just as bad too. There's two awful divisions.
Yeah, I'm like torn because the Giants are the kind of team where if they make the playoffs like this, they could win the Super Bowl. Yeah. But they also, like, if they just kept losing, we could get a top 15 pick. So I wish they would just keep losing.
The worst point.
Yeah, they're kind of in that danger zone. But anyways, as far as what's capturing my attention, the NBA has slowed down just because like I'm kind of coasting till Christmas. I want to see the Cavs play the Warriors. I want Kyrie Irving to be back. Yeah. The Knicks are kind of fun to watch, but they just had a 4-game losing streak before getting back on track. So it's like right now I'm pretty much just following my teams. In the morning when I wake up, like it's just really hard to like try to focus on everything. I was really excited about the NBA season. And so right now it's like I'm following the Knicks. I'm paying attention to the Giants. I'm paying attention to my fantasy team. I'm following trade rumors because that's always fun. But it has kind of gotten to that point where like there's so many teams that are like I guess here's what it comes back to for me in the NBA. The reason the NBA, and we'll talk more about this. You have some thoughts on this, but why the NBA? Well, we're skipping ahead if I say this, but as a sports fan, why I'm where I'm at is because the NBA is just slow right now. We'll talk about why later. But yeah, it's just like it's hard to get into it, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But
how many times are you going to say we're going to talk more about it?
I've said that 30 times. Can you edit that? Can you?
No. It's not like Photoshop. You can just edit out a blemish.
You can.
No, it's not. What are you going to have, like 5-second breaks?
You can just cut this, and then we could go, and then you could start back here.
Nah.
You just cut all that part? No. Okay, anyways. So that's where I'm at as a sports fan. I'm not really into anything right now. It's hard.
I'm kind of with you. I guess the only difference between what you said and where I'm at right now is that I'm still really into soccer, and you're not as big into soccer this year, but even as a Chelsea fan, like last year, winning the Premier League, and then this year staying near the relegation zone, and then firing probably at least the first, second, or third best manager in the world this past week and we're gonna get to that in our next segment.
We're just gonna talk about that in a minute. We keep going back to that.
Gosh, but I mean, soccer's always gonna capture my attention. The drama of the Premier League with freaking Leicester City at the top of the table, and AFC Bournemouth in back-to-back weeks, beating Chelsea and Manchester United. Who would have thought that? But so the Premier League's drama keeps bringing me back. I'm kind of in the same vein of with the NFL, college football, and the NBA. Like, I obviously kept up with Michigan. And going to their bowl game and all that stuff. The Lions, I try never to get too invested in the Lions, even when they're good. And then the Pistons have been entertaining. And the sad part is that the one year they're actually better, the East is a lot better. So they're a few games above 500, and they're still like, in the bottom half of the. Gosh, these chairs are squeaky. The bottom half of the Eastern Conference, which is kind of odd. Yeah. So I'm kind of both in and out to a certain extent with sports. I'm a little more out on the NBA than I have been, but I guess going to our in and out segment, are you in and out on freaking Kobe Bryant?
Oh, and we were going to get cute with this and do like, are you keeping or are you regifting this, what's happening in sports?
But I decided to skip that.
Yeah, well, we wanted to be original.
Let's get in the Christmas spirit. Let's do regifting.
Okay,
let's
so am I going to keep or regift the Kobe Bryant experience?
I like the way you phrased that. Did you see his dunk
out
the other day?
Yeah, I was watching when it happened. I was watching live, and it was like embarrassing how exciting everybody was. How excited everybody was.
He raised his hands in the air.
Yeah, he was trying to. Okay, you ever? I think every kid that's probably like one of the worst 3 kids on the court in a basketball game has had this moment. Yeah. You do something really cool, like you make a shot you shouldn't make, and you try your hardest not to smile as you run down the court. You try to act like you know what you were doing. Yeah. Kobe had that moment. You could see the look on his face where he was trying to act like he wasn't surprised that he dunked it.
Over someone.
He's going up and he's like, I haven't been able to do this for a couple years, and Clint Capella can probably swat this. And then he dunks it, and he's like trying to act like he meant to do that all the way down the court. Like if I hit a half-court shot, I'm gonna act like I meant to hit it, So I don't know.
Andre Drummond the other night, he drained it and just casually walks over. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You can't hit a freaking free throw, and you're like casually strolling off.
So that said, I'm out. It's tough because I love Kobe. He's one of my favorite players of all time. In my driveway, I used to lower the goal and like try to do the dunks that Kobe did. Yeah. And I my shot is like modeled after Kobe, except for his is better somehow. Yeah, no, it's just like the way you do the motion, you do the fadeaway, everything the same way Kobe does it. And so, it's sad to see one of the people you looked up to as a kid like now struggle to shoot and to take, and someone who's so smart about basketball. Just he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a great distributor, but he refuses to be a distributor.
Yeah.
So
he's a great distributor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like he has the ability to lead the NBA in assists if he wanted to. But now, I think he has the vision to be that kind of player. Yeah. But he will never be that guy. He's the kind of guy
I'm regifting Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Just to cut to the chase.
Yeah, regifting. That's it.
It's been, I guess, because I'm a little more out on the NBA this season than I thought I would be as far as the amount of games I'm watching. Plus FIFA and Fallout 4 have been consuming a lot of my free time, and Star Wars Battle, and just Star Wars entirely. But back on track, Kobe, it's just kind of been weird because even when I've been paying attention to the NBA, like really attentively in and out here and there, I haven't cared. I cared for a few days after he announced he retired, right? Yeah. Because I kind of haven't really thought about him for a year and a half, and then he announced he retired, and I had all these feelings. I wrote something, I was like, man, this is bad. And then I watched a couple of the games, and I was like, I don't want to watch these for the rest of the year. And unfortunately, when I turn on, and I've turned SportsCenter on a few times just because it's either that or like the BBC News. And so I've chosen BBC a few times, but it's just so odd that he's still like a first-tier SportsCenter highlight guy. Like they're still covering his games. Like it's so entertaining to watch, and they show like 1 or 2 shots, and Kobe Bryant 24 points from 5 out of 25 shooting. You're just like, oh my gosh.
Well, it's funny because also the fun thing about it, the embarrassing thing about it, is it's patronizing the way they show highlights of him.
Yeah, and they show the one good highlight.
Yeah, well, and then the way that everybody talks about it is like everyone thinks they have a hot take about Kobe, but everybody sees the same stuff and thinks. Everyone tries to be like, Kobe's done, man, and like everyone's like, yeah, we know, like you're not the only guy who thinks that.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, but it's not a hot take, like we realize. But I actually heard somebody last night during the Rockets game go, I heard some people say that Kobe needs to stop playing so much and need to let these rookies take over. They're wrong. They need to let Kobe.
Who said that?
I heard the guy who was announcing the game. I forget his name. He was like, they need to let Kobe.
Was this Rockets broadcasting? Because if so, he wanted to win the game.
It was on ESPN. Of course. So he's like,
Was this John Barry? It was John Barry.
It wasn't
John Barry. We know it was you.
wasn't John Barry. But he was just like, I disagree. They need to let these young guys watch how an NBA great plays. It's like, he's not playing well. He's playing the worst possible way. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, regifting Kobe, and yeah, it's sad.
I gotcha. Okay. Next, regifting or keeping. Is that what we're regifting or keeping?
I mean, there's not. I don't know. Is there a better way to say that?
Better way to say keeping? No. I
don't
know.
It's like the thing that when you pull the thing out of the box, you're looking for the gift receipt immediately. It's like, when you get something and you pull it out and like you're like, oh, this is the thing that I want, and then the next, it's like, so there's some gifts you open and you're like
the
looking
cat
in the
poster
bag
in the
after.
office when Oscar gave Angela the cat poster.
You're like looking in the bag to see if there's a receipt or if there's anything else. So
yeah, okay. Or when you pull out the iPod from Michael and you're not looking for the receipt.
Yeah.
Office references.
Yankee swap. Yankee swap. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so regifting or keeping. Jose Mourinho being fired by Chelsea. Do you want to answer this since you're not really a soccer fan anymore?
Give me a second.
Okay.
I'll just be quick.
Okay.
I'm regifting.
Why?
Because I think that things like this, anytime a great coach is fired,
we prefer to call them managers.
Oh my gosh. A boss. Anytime a great boss is let go. In any sport, for me, a coach doesn't go from being a great coach to a terrible coach in a year. So for me,
7 months ago, they were lifting the trophy as champions of England.
Yeah, and he was considered the second or first.
The special one.
Yeah, he was the special one, the second or first manager or boss or coach in soccer, in world soccer. So I would say I'm regifting because I don't think for anybody, like the Mark Richt firing, things like that, I'm like, I get why you did it. But to me, you fired him because of your own expectations, not because he's a bad coach. And it's just like, you have to be realistic and understand maybe the team's not good enough. So I don't know. That's my take. That's me not watching the games, so I don't really know.
This was the odd thing with, I've watched every Chelsea game so far, every match so far this season. On the pitch.
On the pitch.
Gosh, you were the worst about that. Last year when I first became a soccer fan, Nathan was kind of the guy who, he mentored me and shepherded me. Shepherded?
Yeah.
He
was your Svengale.
Yeah, exactly. He was that. After the World Cup and kind of going into my soccer tenure, I had no idea. I knew Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, all these teams, whatever, were the best. And so I chose to be a Chelsea fan, right? And so going into last season, of course, watching every game, it was great. We were winning. Chelsea was winning. And then this year, it's just the complete opposite. And you think, what changed, right? So they still have probably a top 3 roster in the Premier League. But the weird thing this season was that a lot of people are saying the players quit on him. Maybe this past weekend, but before that, they were all trying. That was the weird thing. So you have Eden Hazard, Diego Costa, Willian, all these guys playing, and they're superstars. And they're being beaten by, granted, Leicester City has played great, but they're being beaten by all these subpar teams. And it's just the most odd thing. And you think, okay, is it Jose Mourinho? What's he doing? And you're thinking, well, okay, he's benching these guys when they're not playing well and kind of putting some pressure on them. And so what more could you do? Especially after and I guess college football is the same way. If, the coach fails right away, they kind of, they plaster him up and they fire him. But it's just, this happened with Chelsea and Jose Mourinho's first tenure. It was great. You have some bad, like a bad period of time, and all of a sudden you're going to fire the guy. And then, of course, they brought him back. And then he's just re-signed a 4 or 5 year extension, and you fire him. Yeah. And you're thinking, well, great. He's probably going to go to PSG or Real Madrid and replace Benitez now, and he's going to do great, just like he always does. And, of course, Chelsea rumored to hire, it was Pep Guardiola. They're rumored to get Pep Guardiola from Bayern. And it's just like, at the end of the day, is Chelsea really as good as they were last year, or is the Premier League just crap? Because I'm starting to think more and more that Chelsea was just an average team last year, but the EPO was just pretty bad. Like Man U, Man City weren't that great. Yep. Because you were a Man City fan at the start of the season, and at the end you were a Manchester United fan. So
let's cut that out.
You literally had a Manchester City kit.
Come on, don't do this.
Gave it away.
Don't do this.
And then had our friend bring back a Manchester United kit all in one season. I kid you not.
Okay, let me explain.
Do you deny?
I don't deny that happened, but I need to explain.
Okay, explain yourself.
I have no connection to British soccer. It's the most competitively...
And you have connection to the New York Knicks?
It just natural. Okay.
That wasn't a gap there. That was an actual period of pausing.
Okay. But the difference is it's about what you grow up watching, what you grow up investing into. I grew up watching the Knicks. They were always on TV. That's one of the few teams that was always on TV. I'm in Atlanta.
Don't act like you grew up in the 1980s. There were more teams on TV.
There were, but there's no reason for me to be a 76ers fan because I watched Allen Iverson play all the time. I watched the Knicks play a lot in the early 2000s because they were always on, and so Eddie Curry, man, he laced me in. That was it. But the thing is just British soccer. I tried to find a way to connect to it.
But you did connect to it for a few years.
I did. But the thing about Man City and Man U, I wanted to find a team I related to. I grew up an Ole Miss fan. We have been historically terrible until we got Hugh Freeze.
You have a plethora of English teams to root for if that's what you want.
Okay, fine. Then I'll be a Swansea City fan because that makes the most sense for me. Because
Everton, Tottenham,
I need
Swansea.
I need somebody dysfunctional, like Ole Miss, like the Knicks, like the Giants. I need something. Well, the Giants aren't dysfunctional, but I need a team that will lose for 4 seasons then win a championship, like the Giants, or a team like the Knicks who hasn't won in 50 years but thinks they're a historically great franchise. I need that, And there's not Man City and Man U didn't fit that, and I tried to mold myself around that, and it didn't work. So I'm done. I'm out. I'm waiting for Atlanta to get a team, and I'll be an MLS fan.
Okay. Didn't mean to, peel back some scabs there.
Rabbit hole there. Anyways, so all of that said,
we are both regifting the Jose Mourinho firing.
Real quick.
We're going to be doing a lot of regifting today.
yeah, we're going to regift pretty much all this. But for you, do you think... a quick answer, do you know what's wrong with Chelsea?
I wish. And here's what I don't understand.
They've spent a lot of money.
They've spent a lot of money. They had the player of the year last year, who a lot of people were saying, is he the third best player in the world behind Messi and Ronaldo and Eden Hazard? And this year, he doesn't have a Premier League goal, and if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure he doesn't have an EPL goal so far this year. He's only been a creator the last few weeks. And then Jose said, okay, Diego Costa's been playing like crap. Let's play a false 9 and put Hazard as the striker right after he's been playing great as a central roaming midfielder. And so I don't know what's wrong with Chelsea. They have the players. The only player who's been playing well so far this season has been Willian. And other than that, they've just all been pretty bad. And I don't know if it's like you lose the fire kind of thing. But it's all about perspective, because if you want to say, well, teams just lose the fire after winning the championship, then explain the Warriors this year. It's like there comes a certain, and people were saying the same thing about Chelsea as they were at the Warriors. Well, they got kind of lucky. It was a down year this year. So if you're compartmentalizing this stuff and putting it towards more effort towards winning a championship, then you have it. But
some teams take it, like the Warriors took it the right way. Maybe Chelsea didn't.
Obviously they didn't.
Because the Warriors took it, and they look like the most motivated team on the court every night.
And it was weird. If you watch Chelsea games when the Jose stuff started happening, they've been bad all season, but over the last couple months, there's been always a chant during the game, and Jose's acknowledged it. He's raised his hand up in the air of Chelsea fans singing, Jose Mourinho, you are the special one. It's like Chelsea fans have been out and supporting this guy from behind his back, and still Roman Abramovich just decided it was time to let it go, I guess.
Okay. So we're regifting. We're not sure what's up with Chelsea, but Jose Mourinho should not have been fired. Anyways, so next, are you in or out keeping or regifting the Heisman Trophy?
The Heisman Trophy itself, because I'd really like to put that on my my nightstand.
Okay. So if you get that as a gift, you're keeping it. But I'm just saying the process of choosing a Heisman, the guy who won the Heisman this year.
Are we saying this year's Heisman, whether we're in or out?
I'm saying what this year's Heisman represents, the way this year's Heisman and the trophy ceremony and all of that, what it represents about the Heisman Trophy as a whole.
Well, let me just say this first off the bat. I didn't watch a second of it.
Me neither.
I can't really remember what I was doing that night, but I was playing Star Wars Battlefront. And I looked down and I said, oh, hey, the Heisman Trophy's on.
You know why you didn't watch it?
I'm not going to watch.
Because an Alabama player was in it, and you knew he was going to win it.
Well, you knew that, of course. It's like, okay, hey, here's a big, strong Alabama running back that we all drool over in college. He's going to go to the NFL and be awful.
But he's also a guy who is like 6'3", 250 and runs like a deer, and it's confusing to watch. Because you're like, why do you move like that? You shouldn't be able to run faster than me. But he scares me.
So maybe he will be good. It was just odd because I'll be honest, I hadn't watched a ton of college football this year besides Michigan games. I'd kept up with it a bit, and I knew that Christian McCaffrey was this great player and was the guy that a lot of people wanted to see win, except for ESPN people and Fox Sports people.
Yeah.
So I am regifting the Heisman Trophy experience because I remember even, I guess, a couple years ago when I've been into college football pretty actively, but in high school and in middle school and stuff, I loved the Heisman Trophy presentation. When it was Colt McCoy, Reggie Bush, Vince Young, all those guys. It meant so much to me. And I don't know if it's that I hate Alabama or if it just felt like it was such a weird pick. Like Alabama, they're great, obviously, but it just felt like it shouldn't have been Derrick Henry, and I didn't really care about any of those players that much. Yeah. Like there wasn't a Vince Young, some guy who I was like, I followed Vince Young to the NFL before he went off the deep end, and who knows, he's probably working in a 7-Eleven somewhere in like Knoxville, Tennessee or something. But just a really weird Heisman Trophy class, and so I was out on it from the beginning. I'm regifting the Heisman Trophy experience.
Here's my issue with it. McCaffrey should have won it. And because he was the most valuable player.
Yeah, you're more into college football, so you can speak more.
I watched enough of it, and I watched probably 3 or 4 of his games. Yeah. What hurt him was he wasn't on TV enough on the East Coast. Like he was on TV, just nobody watched it because it didn't come on till 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. But the dude did everything for his team.
What did you call it? Pac-12 late at night or whatever?
Yeah, late night, or Pac-12 at night. That's what it was. Yeah, because the guy had 400 yards in the Pac-12 championship game, but most people had already submitted their vote before that game even went on. How does that happen? So like the vote for the award, you don't even see one nominee's last game. Where
did that actually happen? Was that something that was
actually
reported?
happened? A lot of votes went in before that game even was played.
That's ridiculous.
So that's one of my issues.
All those guys are so old; they don't want to stay up that late.
Oh yeah, no doubt. One is because I'm telling you, if he's playing for Houston this year, or let's say a more real. If he's playing for Michigan State this year, a team that's in the playoff, if he's playing for them, he doesn't win that award. If Deshaun Watson is that his name? Yeah, Deshaun Watson. If he's playing for Alabama, he wins the award. If Christian McCaffrey is playing for Florida, he probably wins the award. Yep. Like because Christian McCaffrey did everything that Reggie Bush did. Reggie Bush was more iconic. He played for USC.
Would you say Reggie Bush was more electric, or would you put them on the same? Because Reggie Bush was one of those guys you watch and you say, how did he just juke out like 7 guys? It was otherworldly.
It was, yeah, and I guess that's where the game is different. Because Christian McCaffrey was the kind of guy that he outruns everybody. All of a sudden you watch a play and he like takes 2 steps and he's gone. And Reggie Bush, it was like he runs to the one sideline and then he cuts back and reverses field.
It was ridiculous, but it worked.
Yeah, and so he was crazy to watch. But I mean, Christian McCaffrey did all the same things as far as kick return, catching, running. So it's just, I'm out on it. I re-gift it because I think the process is stupid. I think that the award now goes to the best player on the best team, according to, but like that, to me, that is not an accurate way to give an award, because the best part of Alabama's team is their defense, which is historically great. Yep. And so, not to take anything away from Henry, I'm just saying what McCaffrey did is I think, more impressive. Anyways.
So college football on New Year's, I think this one will be a little quicker. Yeah. I'll just take it quick. I'm actually kind of keeping college football on New Year's. It's this weird thing to where it's a terrible time to watch a game. No one wants to watch it. Well, maybe people do. Obviously, people do because they keep doing it. But
I guess so, yeah.
It's kind of an odd time to watch a game, but it's kind of such an institution that since I'm not a massive college football fan to where I can watch, 2 random teams play and be entertained by it, I don't mind it being on.
Okay.
So I am in on college football on New Year's, barely.
Okay. I'd say
it's kind of like socks,
Yeah.
It's like, are you really going to regift socks? But you kind of need them, and they're just kind of there. So they're the socks.
So let's say this comes like it's a 2 set that comes in like 1 box for me because you got Christmas or you got New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. Yeah. If they gave me like 2 gifts and it was like 2 mugs that match or something like that, like Santa Claus face on it, I think I am. Well, I mean, this obviously Christmas time, whatever. I'm getting those 2 mixed up. But yeah, so I'm keeping New Year's Day. I'm re-gifting New Year's Eve. Okay. I don't want to, on New Year's Eve, I don't think about sports. I'm always trying to hang out with friends, spend time with people, spend time with family, enjoy it. I celebrate the holiday. But on New Year's Day, there's nothing going on. That's the perfect time to watch football. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's
one of those days where I'm like, you're kind of confused as to why you have the day off work, but you do just because it's the first day of the year.
It's a great way it's a random Saturday every year that you're like, wait, what day is this?
Well, it's a Friday this year, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a Saturday.
It feels like a random Saturday. They're like, hey, you can just have this off because it's near Christmas and it's the first day of the year.
It is, if I can say, it's the man nipple of holidays. You don't know what it's for, but it's there.
We'll save that for our other podcast, deep diving the holidays of the United States.
And their relation to male anatomy. Anyways, so NFL. Just NFL. Regifting or keeping?
I am keeping the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprising myself with this one because I'm a big NFL guy. The past couple years, I've gravitated way more towards the NBA and still do. And even last year, because last year was the first year I was really into soccer, the NFL just made its way down. But I'm kind of in on the NFL this year. It's a little more engaging to me because I love the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Lions fan, but I'm always fascinated with the Patriots because Tom Brady went to Michigan, and I love teams that cheat that everyone hates. They're kind of fun to follow and kind of watch everyone get mad about it. But NFL games have just been really fun to watch. Like, I never watch Thursday night or Monday night because the games usually suck, but and it's almost like Sunday Night Football has kind of saved it. Like Sunday afternoon and Sunday Night Football, it's weirdly just like this weird kind of, it's an environment, right? So like NBC, the way they do games, and even CBS on the afternoons, not like necessarily the announcers, but just, it's always just usually a big game. And so it's just kind of been interesting. So kind of, I don't really have great reasons for it, but I'm kind of been in on the NFL this year. And so I'm keeping the NFL as a whole, plus playoff NFLs, that's really fun usually.
Definitely. Okay. I'm keeping it, but it's one of those things that's like, I check the tag and it's made in China. It's like a pair of Nikes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I like it, but I know that this is wrong. Like, I know it's dirty.
Is it kind of like the Walmart Roches you bought that one time?
Yes. Okay, so let's say I get those for Christmas.
Yeah.
I got this pair of like knockoff Walmart, like the Nike Roches or Roches, however you pronounce it. I got a pair of those from Walmart. And it's like, if I got a pair of those, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to regift these because they're my size.
Yeah.
They look like the real thing. Mm-hmm. Also, I know that some slave in China probably made these. So that's kind of like, there's some dirty to it. There's some, I'm not sure I even like it to it, but I am going to keep watching it because I like watching the Giants. I'll keep up with the playoffs, but man, it's hard because I just can't stand like the way the NFL handles business. I think they're too arrogant, and watching football gets harder. Okay, I'm not going to go see Concussion. Like, I don't care about seeing that movie, but it is hard to watch football sometimes when you see these guys get hit and you see them wobble off the field. You're like, this is bad. Like,
yeah, like last year in the Super Bowl, I think it was Julian Edelman who just got knocked off his horse, and I was like, why is this? No one's talking about this. He's still in the game.
Yeah. And honestly, it's gotten harder and harder to watch that stuff, and I don't know why. Well,
because we're more aware of it.
Yeah, I guess so. And
we used to love those kind of hits, and we never really watched the person who was just getting like knocked out. Mm-hmm. And now we're like, I feel really bad for that guy.
Well, it just seems like football is so hypocritical in that like the thing that you see on all the highlight reels is the big hits, but the thing they're trying to eliminate is the big hits. And so
ESPN used to have a program where they just like, I can't remember what it was called, but they would literally just have like big hits for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm sure they had something. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is like, I'll watch it, but it's hard to watch sometimes because of the hits, and I also like can't stand the front office of the NFL. Yeah. But anyways, I won't go on a rant there.
All right, so we are done with re-gifting and keeping our holiday segment.
Christmas.
So finally, we're going to talk about the NBA a little bit. We kind of touched on it in the initial portion of the podcast when we talked about where we are as sports fans and kind of how the NBA hasn't really captured our attention as much. So I guess kind of closing out, why has the NBA been a little bit less compelling for you this year?
I would say right now, the reason, and it just kind of came to me when we started the podcast, I almost spoiled it, but what's made it less compelling right now is that there's such a huge disparity between the good teams and the rest of the league. Because right now, in the beginning of the season, you were kind of like, man, this is great. And the Warriors were on a streak, and you thought they could break it. And it was like the whole league, like the Rockets are dysfunctional, and the Kings are the weirdest franchise in the league. And like the Utah Jazz and the Magic look fun. But like the Hornets are surprising. The Knicks are doing better than we thought. Celtics look really good. Stuff like that. It's just like, oh, this is fun. The Pistons are good. The East is better than the West for the first time in like decades. So it's great. It's fun. But the issue is, we know what's going to happen at the end of the season. Like we know that it'll be.
That's not true.
I think things could change, obviously. Yeah. But as of right now, there are 4 teams that are clearly the best. 3 that stand out the most. You got the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Cavs, and then the Thunder are making a push. So I think right now, like
they lost to the Cavs last night.
They did. So I guess that's kind of why for me right now it's less compelling, is because I know what I'm getting out of the NBA right now. there are 4 teams that are better than everyone else, and unless some real moves are made, it's going to stay that way. Or unless injuries happen, it's going to stay that way. So that's kind of where I'm at. I still love it. Like it's my favorite sport. It's my favorite league to follow, but it's harder to follow during the dog days of the season right now because there's such a huge disparity and because the streak is done for the Warriors.
And also we should mention that we're recording this on Friday the 18th, but we're probably not posting it for a couple days. So when we say last night, we're talking when the Lakers played the Rockets last night and when the Thunder played the Cavs. Yep. But nothing in the next couple of days is really going to change how the NBA is shaped because it's been kind of a weird season, like you said. Like the East is randomly good. The teams in the West that we were really excited to watch, like the Clippers and the Rockets, they kind of suck and they're not fun to watch.
Oh, the Clippers are the least fun team to watch in the league.
The Clippers stink. They were my finals pick out of the West, which is incompetent.
They have good players. They just aren't using them. Sorry, I'll go on a rant if I have to. But
Josh
it's hard to watch.
Sitting on the bench.
I know. I can't do it. And Austin Rivers.
The coach's kid. That used to be the guy we hated when we were playing Little League baseball or basketball or whatever. It was like the coach's kid would always play first base every time, and even if he sucked.
It's got to be, the Clippers have to be, the only way I can describe it is the least self-aware team in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers has no idea how they look right now. And every time they complain about a call, it's like the only player on that team I like is Blake. And he's one of the least likable players in the league to most people.
It sucks that Chris Paul's unlikable now.
I know. I hate that
he's
too.
He's a great point guard.
Yeah, but he is unlikable. I think DeAndre going to the Mavs would have been the best thing for the Clippers, and it's weird to say that now. But I just don't think that...
The weird thing is that the Mavs have actually been kind of good.
I know.
Mark Cuban's probably thanking his lucky stars.
Yeah, so it's hard. Anyways, I think I interrupted you.
No, you're good. So the NBA is just not really that compelling. So in order to make it compelling, we spin up the old Bill Simmons trade machine and NBA trades you want to see happen. Go, and then I will critique them. Okay.
I want to see Dwight moved somewhere. I want to see him move to someone like the Pelicans.
The Pelicans?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the stupidest thing I've heard. Why? Why would the Pelicans...
Nobody wants Dwight. That's the hard thing. I just want to see Dwight. I want to see the Rockets not be Dwight and James Harden.
So you want to see them beat James Harden and
Ryan Anderson and Omer Asik.
Okay, I can see that. But why would the Hornets do that? To bottom out because it would make their team worse?
Because, then all of a sudden you don't have Anthony Davis playing 5 anymore. He can play 4. They stretch the floor, get spacing.
Then aren't you just going Twin Towers when that doesn't really work in the NBA anymore?
But at the same time, you can't play Omer Asik and Anthony Davis at the same time anyway with that. And I think they could probably get a pick out of the Rockets with that trade too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe you get a pick. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking that they've got to find a way to get something. I think the Pelicans they're going to trade. They're going to move somebody. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not as passionate about that. I want to see Melo. I want to see Melo get traded.
What would you want for Melo? Obviously, it's not like...
I want to pick.
You want to pick?
If he goes to the Heat, I want Justice Winslow.
Gosh, I don't know why the Heat would do that.
They would because they want to win. Now. Yeah, that's Pat Riley's thing. So I could see him going to the Heat. I would. That's my ideal situation is like a 3-way trade where we get Justice Winslow and somebody's pick for Melo.
Has Melo been good this year? Because I'll be honest, I've watched Knicks games just to watch Porzingis, so I haven't paid attention to Melo. But has he actually been, obviously not rejuvenated because he's old, but has he been somewhat decent?
I mean, he's same old. He's frustrating at times. He's good at other times. He's one of the best closers in the game, but he's also frustrating. He's frustrating the same way that Kobe's frustrating. That he can do anything he wants on a basketball court, but he chooses a jab step pull up long 2. He chooses.
He's everyone's favorite pickup player.
Oh yeah, he chooses a 19-footer jab step fadeaway shot that he makes 40% of the time. Yeah. When he could be a really good distributor, he's
a fun post player.
Yeah, well, he's a good 3-point shooter. To me, he is a more talented Draymond Green. Okay, just listen, hear me out.
How dare you? Draymond Green is way more talented.
I'm saying talent-wise, ability-wise.
Okay. You're right. I misspoke. They're not talented.
Because I think Draymond Green plays the way, and he's not even as offensively talented as.
Is Melo as big as Draymond?
Yeah, the same size. Actually, Melo's a little bit bigger. So that's my thing is like
That's
he could
hilarious.
play like Draymond, and he could be one of the best
I'm thinking
stretch
it's
fours
like
in the league.
ability and defensive capabilities that Draymond has, but
He may
offensively,
not be as athletic either.
he's a little
But
bit thicker.
when he wants to, defensively, he can lock down. Like, he's been really good defensively this year. That's one thing where he has improved because he's asked coaches to keep him accountable. He's been really improved defensively. I just don't. I don't think we can win.
Hang on. Did you just say Melo has asked coaches to keep him accountable?
It's true. I don't know.
Him and D Fish hanging out. Yo, I need you to keep me accountable on this.
Derek Fisher. I don't know. I keep saying we as if I'm playing on the Knicks, but I think
It's fine. We can do we.
I don't think the Knicks can win a championship with Melo as their centerpiece. And I think they
Hot
need
take.
to start. That is the hottest take in this room. No, I think it's just like you have to build around Porzingis, and you can't waste.
Listen, I don't think the Knicks can do anything with their current roster.
Robin Lopez.
Wait, didn't they sign Aaron Aflalo for like a large amount of money?
They signed him for $8 million. That's not bad.
Okay, that's not
With
bad.
especially with the new salary cap. But he's got like a one-in-one player option where he'll probably opt out and get $15 million from us next year. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
anyways.
Okay, well,
So yeah, I would like to see Melo traded. I don't think the Bulls will trade Derrick Rose yet. His name's mentioned too much to actually be traded. But the 76ers trading Jahlil Okafor. I bet that'll happen.
who would want Jahlil Okafor?
Somebody will use him. I think somebody would
He
want him.
seems like a great Kings player. After they get rid of Boogie, I think he'd be great on the Kings. Rondo can be.
Okay, I want to see Boogie traded. That'd be fun.
Yeah, his name's floated out, but obviously he'd be fun on teams like the Celtics and the Heat. But I don't know why the Heat would trade Winslow, and I think was it Simmons who was talking about trading Winslow and Whiteside for Boogie Cousins? That trade just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
Why would
I
you
don't know
want
if they
it?
would do
Both
that.
those guys are obviously. We don't know how good. We know Winslow's going to be a good defensive guy, but we don't know how good both of those players are going to be collectively.
I don't know if you can get Boogie Cousins, so I trade because Hassan Whiteside I think is older than Boogie Cousins.
No, he's not.
He's like 26.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Well, shows you how much I know. Okay.
But the last player I want to see traded, I don't know, Bradley Beal.
Why? Because he's been bad.
Just because he's
Only 22, right?
He's a young. But that's the thing is he's a young player. I think they could still
You
get
can't
something
trade
for him.
And he has the chance to be a really good shooting guard.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
was last year against the Hawks. I remember going to a game and thinking how awful the Hawks were and then seeing how good Bradley Beal was and thinking how I hadn't really paid attention to him that much. And granted, he hasn't had a great start to the season because the NBA is just really weird right now. And like the Wizards somehow aren't that good in the East. But yeah, like the Pistons and the Knicks and the Magic have been playing pretty well.
Okay, so one last thing. I know we're going a little long here, but we got to get out of here. But do you have like any hot takes as far as like teams you think will exceed expectations or like things you see happening?
Yeah, I thought that was the freaking Clippers. That's why I picked them to come out of the West at the beginning of the season because I thought, hey, Lance Stevenson off an awful season. Hey, maybe at the very least he can come in and go on a hot streak occasionally, make a few threes, and be a decent chippy Clippers player because that's all they are now. And Josh Smith, the guy who resurrected the Rockets last year when Kevin McHale benched James Harden. So I really thought they would be better this year because I thought Doc would play them more, but that obviously hasn't happened. So as far as hot takes, I don't know. I think the Warriors and the Spurs have kind of ruined all of that because they're absolutely destroying everybody right now. I think I saw a stat, it may have been yesterday or the day before, that the Spurs have the most double-digit wins in the NBA, which is like, I thought the Warriors have been beating everyone by this much and all that. But I guess, I don't have any hot takes to answer your question. I think it's a 3-team race so far, and I don't really see how that changes at all unless there's a monumental trade.
If the Thunder get better, maybe make another trade. But
I don't know. I just feel like they've had their chance, and one of them's like going to end up getting hurt, which is sad, but you're probably right.
What I want to see, that's like my last thing for it, I want to see Kyrie Irving healthy versus Steph.
Oh,
Because we got a glimpse of Kyrie Irving at his best in Game 1 of the Finals.
he was so good.
He outplayed Curry.
Yeah.
He played and he locked him.
Granted, Curry's a different guy now, but yeah, you're right.
He's on another level, but Kyrie locked him down defensively. He played really well. I just want to see that again because I think if there's anybody who's as good like at dueling shooting ability with ball handling skill, Kyrie is that guy.
Yeah.
He's the closest to Steph we'll see.
I'm going to go back on our word, and I actually have one last thing. It was something I saw yesterday. I think it was Charles Barkley who said that, and I'm not saying I disagree, I just want to know your thoughts on it, that
if
the
he said
Bulls
it, you
would
probably disagree.
Yeah, beat those little punks talking about the Warriors, I think it was the 96 Bulls that won 72 games.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So he said the 96 Bulls would basically beat the little punks or beat those little guys or something like that. About the
95,
Warriors.
96, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Both, it's that year, though.
So I'm not going to, we're not going to break this down, position by position, but right now, how do you think those two teams would match up? Okay, gosh, I sound like an ESPN personality.
No, yeah, that's
Who would you pick right now if you had to bet money on?
hot take. What era are we playing? The 90s or right now?
What do you mean?
Because that matters. Are we playing the basketball?
No, that roster against the Warriors roster.
And just a pickup game?
Each of their styles. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I think that the Bulls would win then.
You think the Bulls would win?
Because we saw, think about, I don't know, it's hard because they can both adjust so well. Because you saw, what the Cavs did in the finals was what the Bulls would have done to them. They slowed the game down. They made the game revolve around Mike. They made LeBron and Michael. It would have revolved around them, and they just slowed the game down and played half court ball, and they kind of out-rebounded, out-offensive rebounded the Warriors, and then the Warriors ran them off the court.
I think they figured that out though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. In game 4, 5, and 6, they ran them off the court with the small ball. So the small ball. It's not like an old
with the small ball.
No, it depends. I think if they play in the 90s and they don't call any fouls like they do now.
The thing is the Clippers did that against the Warriors, and they beat the crap out of Steph Curry, and Steph Curry still murdered them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not about beating the crap out of Steph. It's do you not get called for beating the crap out of Steph?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Chris Paul did.
Yeah.
He didn't foul out of the game.
But you do that to everybody. And then if you add, Chris Paul is 3 inches shorter than Steph.
Here's what would be fun to see, though, is Draymond against Dennis Rodman.
That would be fun. Draymond is such a better player than Rodman is, though.
Rodman was good.
He was, but I'm saying as an all-around player.
More complete, yeah.
Because he can play center and he can guard point guards, and he can shoot threes and he can be a playmaker. Yeah. So what he does is incredible. But it goes back to what era are we playing? If we're playing in this era, small ball wins. Because at some point in a 7-game series, the Warriors will figure out how to beat what you're doing. Yeah. And they're playing on such another level right now. And then you go, but I think in the 90s, if you put Pippen on Steph, he's running him all over the court. And because he can do whatever he wants to him in the 90s when they're not.
Same thing with Clay or with Jordan guarding Clay.
Yeah, Clay.
Obviously, he's Michael Jordan, so he's not going to get tired as easily.
Yeah.
But
well, and Clay has a tendency. I know everybody talks about Clay being the 1-2
Dude, he was a baller the other night.
He was a baller, but I'm saying sometimes it seems like it's easier to get in Clay's head in games. You can see him just disappear in some games. Yeah, he's a great shooter.
True.
But Draymond is their guy. Draymond is number 2. So
I would agree with that.
Anyways.
Okay, well, do you have anything else?
I think that's it. I don't have any other hot takes.
Yeah, but anyways, so this is our second podcast on the Unprofessionals podcast.
Network?
See, I don't know if it's a network.
It's not a network.
It's just the Unprofessionals podcast.
Unprofessionals podcast channel.
Yeah, okay. We're a channel,
on
whatever.
Unprofession.com.
On Unprofession.com.
Brought to you by the mobile hop-in off of Arnold Mill and Trickham Road, unofficial, hopeful sponsor of the Unprofessionals podcast.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you did, most of the time we're not the best at podcasts, but we just kind of like to talk about stuff, and we figured it would be a good idea to record some of it because it's just fun to do podcasts. So if you guys are interested, just let us know what we can do better and how we can improve, and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up with all of our posts and podcasts. So thanks for listening, and we are out.
Thanks.